Students, the next particle accelerator for your syllabus is cyclotron. So in the year 1929, Lorentz and Livingston developed this type of particle accelerator. So what is this cyclotron means? So cyclotron is basically a particle accelerator, so which we are going to use to accelerate the particle to very high velocity in the circular path. So here the particle is made to move in a circular path, and we are increasing the velocity of the charged particle. That's why the name cyclotron. And out of this system, what the particle is coming out, that will be having very high velocity, and that we are going to use to bombard on some target nuclei to perform some kind of nuclear reactions. So this is what the cyclotron is. Now we'll move towards the construction of this cyclotron. So what the cyclotron consists of is, if you look at the side view, this is the side view of the cyclotron. This is having two semicircular metal boxes. These two are semicircular metal boxes. If you consider a metal cylinder, and if at the center if you cut, and in between that if you maintain certain distance, then that forms these two semicircular metal boxes called D1 and D2, and these two are called as Ds. So these are the two metal Ds, hollow semicircular metal Ds, and these two are separated by certain distance. A source of ion that is located at the center of the two Ds, means at the gap that is present between the two Ds, there we are going to keep the source, that is what from which we are going to get the ionizing particle. So now these two Ds are insulated from each other, means the gap should be maintained in between the two Ds, and this should be placed in a vacuum chamber. This whole setup is placed in a vacuum chamber, means in order to prevent the entry of particles from the atmosphere. So this whole setup is kept in the vacuum chamber, and these two are, both the Ds are insulated from each other. Now these two Ds are connected to high frequency oscillator. So these two Ds are connected to very high frequency oscillator, means for every half cycle the polarity of the two Ds is continuously going to change. Two Ds are connected to high frequency oscillator, that you can see in the top view. Here in this you can see the two Ds are connected to high frequency oscillator, so that polarity of the Ds are continuously changing. The whole setup is placed in between two strong magnetic pole pieces. This whole D's, this is placed in between the two strong electromagnets. These two are the electromagnets. N and S are the electromagnets, so which are going to produce the magnetic field. So now on what principle this works is, so in the linear accelerator, we know that whenever a charged particle is placed in a electric field, it is going to accelerate. But here, along with the electric field, there will be, it is going to experience the magnetic field. So here, the target nucleus that is placed in between the two Ds, from which you are going to get the radiations. So now, in between the two Ds, as the Ds are connected to high frequency oscillator, here in between this gap the particle is going to accelerate, means the velocity of the particle is going to increase. And along with that, so if this screen is the plane that the Ds are having, means if in this plane the Ds are placing, means perpendicular to this plane, means in the outward direction, so there will be the magnetic field. So here the magnetic field and electric field both are acting on the charged particle. So if this is the case, come to this diagram. So here, if this is the charged particle, this represents, if this represents velocity of the charged particle, and these are the magnetic field vectors. So these cross means they are perpendicular, they are coming outward. If this is the plane containing the Ds, if this is the plane containing Ds, and these magnetic field lines are outward, means perpendicular to this. And if velocity vector of the charged particle is perpendicular to this, means the particle will move in the circular path. The particle follows the circular path. So if in the case of linear accelerator, then the straight line that used to accelerate, but here because of presence of the magnetic field, so here velocity vector and the magnetic field all are right angles to each other. So that's why the charged particle is going to experience the Lorentz force. So because of this, what happens, the charged particle is going to make the circular path. So here on this principle, this cyclotron is going to work. So now look at this top view. These are the two D's, and in a plane containing D's perpendicular to that direction, there will be the magnetic field. Both the D's are connected to high frequency oscillator. That is what you can see in this diagram. In between the space of two D's, here will be a that is the source that is going to emit the particle. So now the particle emits the radiation. Let us suppose at any instant of time, if this D is having positive pole, means if this is at the positive pole, means this will be at the negative pole, because AC signal will be there. If one is at positive, means another one will be at negative, means electric field lines will be in this direction. In this direction electric field lines will be. And next, after certain time interval, what happens? The first D, this gets negative charge, and the second D, that becomes positive charge. So that electric field lines will be in this direction, positive to negative. Let us suppose this source that is going to emit the positive charge at this instant. So this, from the source you are getting the positive charge, means the first D will be at negative potential. So in the space between this, the charge particle is going to accelerate. Like this, the charge particle will be accelerated as the D1 is at negative potential. Inside the D's, there will not be any acceleration. The velocity remains constant. So here, when the charge particle that enters the D1, velocity of the charge particle is not going to change. It moves with the constant velocity. Since there is the magnetic field acting on this D, the path followed by the charge particle will be circular path. And inside the D, so the charge particle follows this semicircular path. Then as it reaches the, at it is about to cross this first D1, then what happens? Automatically, as the time passes, this has to get the negative and this has to get the positive charge. As the positive charge is coming out of the D1, means again the electric field lines will be in this direction. So as it comes out of the D1, the electric field lines will be in the downward direction, means in the motion of the charge particle, the electric field lines will be there. So here, in the gap between both the D's, the particle is going to accelerate. In this gap, the particle will be accelerate. Again it enters the second D, that is it enters D2. As the charge particle enters the second D, that is D2, again inside the D it is going to move with the constant velocity, because the inside this D, the electric potential will be 0. So here it moves with the constant velocity, then it follows the semicircular path. Then again, when it is about to come out of the D2, then the again polarity changes. So in the gap, it will again accelerated. The particle will be accelerated in between the gap of 2Ds. Then again the procedure continues. So as this passes number of cycles, so the radii of the circular path that the charge particle is going to travel inside the D, that is going to increase. So as this radius increasing, the velocity of the particle that is continuously increasing and increasing. As a result, the out of the D, what the charge particle that will be coming, that will be having very high velocity. So the energy of the particle will be very high. So this is how this cyclotron works. So now we'll move towards the expression for this. So here, because of presence of the magnetic field, so the charge particle that is going to experience the Lorentz force. So charge particle experiences the Lorentz force, and the basic expression for the Lorentz force is given by, if Q is the charge of the particle, and if velocity of the charge particle is V, and if B is the magnetic field that is acting, then the Lorentz force is given by Q into V cross B, and this can be written as QVB sine theta. If this velocity is perpendicular to this, means what we can write is sine 90. QVB cross product is there, means QVB sine theta we can write, and theta, if V is perpendicular to magnetic field, and this means this becomes a sine 90. So this we can write as F is equal to Q into VB. So this is the expression for the Lorentz force. So now this Lorentz force is responsible for the centripetal force. This Lorentz force is balanced by centripetal force. As the charge particle is moving in the circular path, Lorentz force is balanced by centripetal force. So from this what we can write is this QVB, which is the expression for the Lorentz force. This will be equal to what? Centripetal force, and the formula for that is mv square divided by capital R. If R is the radius of the circular path, then this Lorentz force is balanced by the centripetal force, and the equation what we can write is QVB is equal to mv square divided by R. From this R is equal to, if we write the expression for radius of the circular path, R becomes equal to mv divided by VV get cancels out, mv divided by Q into B. So this is the expression for the radius of the circular path. So this radius of the circular path, this depends on the velocity. If the velocity of the charge particle is more than the radius of the circular path that it is going to travel inside the D, that will be more. So this R depends on this V mainly. Now from this, if you write the expression for the velocity of the charge particle, then that becomes equal to, just the rearrangement is there, Q into B into R divided by M we can write. This is the velocity of the charge particle. So velocity of the charge particle, again that is dependent on this R. V is equal to, from this expression we can write QBR divided by M. So now if velocity is known, means we can write the kinetic energy expression. So kinetic energy of the charge particle, that will be equal to half mv square. So this is half mv square. From this, if you substitute the expression of this v in this, means half m will be there, and v square is q square b square r square, q square b square r square divided by m square. So this becomes equal to 1 m get cancels out, and you are left with q square b square r square divided by 2m. So this is the expression for the kinetic energy associated with the charge particle inside the D. So again, if R is more, then the kinetic energy that the particle is having will be more, and again it depends on the strength of the magnetic field, depends on the charge, and it depends on the mass of the particle. So now this is the expression for the energy associated with the charge particle. If the same thing, if we write for frequency, what should be the frequency of this charge particle, means from this what we can write, capital T, that is time period, is equal to what we can write, circumference of the orbit, circumference divided by velocity we can write. So already expression for the velocity we know, and the circumference for the circular path is 2 pi r will be there. So capital T, time period, is equal to, means how much time the charge particle take to complete one circle inside the, in the D. Circumference is equal to 2 pi capital R divided by velocity is q b r, and this divided by m is there. So this becomes equal to 2 pi m divided by q into b. So this is the time period, means this much time the charge particle is going to take to complete one circle inside this system. Then if you know the time period, we can write frequency. Frequency is equal to 1 by t we can write. So this becomes equal to qb divided by 2 pi m. So this is the frequency associated with the charge particle. So if this frequency is matched with the frequency of a high frequency oscillator, then the polarity automatically is going to change as the charge particle is coming out of the D, first D, then automatically polarity is going to change. That is what a resonance effect is. This much frequency should be maintained with the high frequency oscillator, so that polarity automatically gets changes as the charge particle is about to enter the next D. This is the condition. So this much frequency is maintained, then so as it is about to leave the first D, and it will accelerate in the gap present between the two D's, so that again polarity is getting changed. So if this frequency matches with the frequency of the oscillator, then the polarity continuously it is changing. So I hope this is understood, and this is for today's topic, and the remaining topics we'll discuss in the next class. Thank you. Take the assignment question, students. Explain the construction and working of cyclotron, and give expression for the energy of the charged particle. Give expression for energy of the charged particle. Thank you.